Inside Story Uganda. Real source of...
I can assure you your safety. When you come to me, don't go through anybody. Come to me, ring my number, unless you are not the one. Hunting Amvuma. The second point, by Wednesday.
By Wednesday?
Wednesday.
And after tomorrow?
Nagamba, executive director was the council. Namu inako musambu. If she does not give me 10 million to compensate the books her agents took, grabbed, obutabo bwange bwebabba.
KCCA ya grabbinga.
Abasikese bali kupika hapo. Batwala obutabo bwange. When I don't receive this money, that Geneva is expires on Wednesday. Then I deserve a right to kill them.
No, you don't deserve a right to kill any person.
I think enda kubakuba masasi. Hiyo maiti. Inaona maiti zinatembea kwa gari za kesishi. Mimi nataka 10 million to teach these people. I take a time to write my books. There's no reason.
Wali wa Babu Sango?
Babu Sango michalo yo watunda mbuku sompu mubulinachi. Bibakolo yo gundi bawana chobe ne bakwata obutabo. Atabo basiru era bangainti abo tetubamanyi bali ku mobile. Waliwe yabuyola bunafu. Sakatumu.
No, bajja kugula ko musango kutaba.
Anti guliwe you prove nze na musse.
Anti weyogedde ko
nokiri. Anti zigeda wafe mu nsozi jempaba. Nze nyina judiso system yange. Elifu 3,000 ngule roya. Why do I buy a lawyer for when there is elifu 3 for 3,000? Did I do economics? State council must give me 10 million.
Otherwise, ogenda we lift up.
Yes. Zemba wadde up to Wednesday. After Wednesday, don't ask me. Zengeza mu judicial system yange jenzikiriza.
Elifu 3 ajja kuvaamu.
Elifu ki?
Chikovi busatuka.
Akataba ako kyekakayozesezza
kano
kasome
the lion and Masai
bakayoddewo
kekano kutwasoma ensine sigalange kyakayanira
gwe somako
nsomewa
bugenya kingdom
tandikire ku the lions and the Masai warrior bugenya kingdom
kyebavudde bakayolawo.
Okay, waliwo no how bugenya story
bugenya kingdom Solo bugenya
kanu nyimpula wano. Okay, kakono ndabyewo. Okay, akatabo bakaita The Lion and the Masai Warrior. Akatabo kano kawandikibwa omukuna Tamale Mirundi media consultant. The casualties of the succession battle. Kungulu kuliko Dr. Kiza Besigye, ndabako Javel Bidandisali, ndabako Gilbert Bukenya, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, n'omusajja yambadde olutuula nga fumita empologoma. Atamale yakawandiika ng'ennaku z'omwezi 7 mwezi gwa 3 omwaka 2022 mwezi ogwo oguwedde nga gutandika mu maka ge ezzana yakamaliza ku ssaawa 4:30 mu omuko oba page ya 64 The Story of Ugenya Kingdom, emboozi ya Ugenya Kingdom. Embozen katusome tuwulire. 5 years ago I published a Luganda book titled Musanje nga alwana ne mukoddomi we Lwembaawo. In English translation, the title of the book tells how King Musanje struggled to save his kingdom from his son-in-law Lwembaawo. I narrated the story that happened in this fictitious kingdom called Ugenya, and I wrote, Ugenya Kingdom was like other kingdoms of the time, and the inhabitants of Ugenya were good people who were also very hardworking. Unlike other kingdoms that suffered constant succession battles whenever a reigning king died, Ugenya had a properly laid down succession process. This kept Ugenya Kingdom more stable than any other kingdom in the region at that time. Ugenya had a strong army because it had fought many battles with its neighbors from Ugatanza Kingdom. In addition, Ugenya had a good climate and fertile soils which favored food production and kept the people secure from droughts or famine that constantly ravaged other kingdoms. This was the source of envy from Ugenya's neighbors. Ugenya was also endowed with natural resources, natural parks, and preserved animal species and birds, as well as saving wildlife from extinction. This was easy because the people of Ugenya had adopted species of animals and birds as their totems and therefore had to jealously protect them. Finally, Ugenya had a big lake from which its people used to catch fish for food and export the surplus to neighboring countries. In my submission, I elaborated that Ugenya had a clear succession process where power rotated within members of the royal family. I also reported that King Musanje was not only the king of Ugenya, but was a celebrated warrior who had led the Ugenya army on many expeditions during his youth. Before Musanje took power, Ugenya was rife with constant inter-kingdom wars as other kingdoms attempted to annex it or install puppet kings. For example, a puppet king called Obuto had taken over the kingdom and also wiped out members of Ugenya royal family. This is the liberation battle that earned King Musanje popularity among the Wagenya. Musanje almost single-handedly spearheaded the war that removed Obuto from power, restored the kingdom, and elders later installed him as king. This is why Ugenya has enjoyed peace and stability under Musanje's leadership. Among the priorities he has identified is the importance of a strong army. Like with any young man, the elders pressurized him to get married. Have a family so that he can bring forth a successor. After settling in, Musanje married a beautiful girl called Jalia. But Jalia produced daughters which annoyed the elders. Musanje was forced to marry a second wife who produced 2 sets of twins. King Musanje was equally excited, and given his background, he named one of his male twins Mukenzi, one who looks far and detects the enemy from a distance. However, because it took long for Musanje to get the pair of twins and the 2 sons, by the time Musanje came of age, the daughters were ready for marriage. One of the daughters was married to a young man called Ruembao. But Ruembao came at a time when King Musanje had not produced a son. Therefore, Ruembao took advantage of this vacuum and played many roles, some of which were a preserve of members of the royal family. Ruembao's conduct attracted the attention of the royal family and the public. His roles and the proximity to King Musanje became common talk in bars and other public places. King Musanje defended him by saying that since Ruembao had no royal blood, there was no way he could succeed his father-in-law. He also agreed that Ruembao attracted much attention because Prince Mukenzi was still young. However, as the saying goes, where there is smoke, there is fire. Ruembao was on a mission. He created an air of confidence and fear. Many people inside and outside the palace started fearing to mention his name in public and resorted to whispers. Lwembao infiltrated all sectors of the kingdom. He started an organization teaching young people the objectives of the kingdom and how to protect Ugenya from future enemies. Through his organization, he stressed the need for a modern society where people could be free to choose their leaders in a democratic fashion. On a number of occasions, Musanje was alerted by the elders about the young man's schemes, but he dismissed it as envy, as his son-in-law was mobilizing the youth and imparting modern ideas into society. Whoever stood in the young man's way would be sacked immediately. Lwembao never hesitated to invoke his mother-in-law's name every time he wanted to instill fear in his rivals. To consolidate his influence and defeat his enemies, Lwembao recruited a shrewd young man from his group, which comprised of majorly people from poor families with no roots in the Ugenya kingdom of politics. The notorious group was composed of, among others, Kajiko, Sugula, and Kobushegu. And Kobushegu Nogamba, it means one who spreads poison. Emerging from nowhere, the group dominated the kingdom politics. They had no respect for elders. Using their proximity to both Queen Jalia and King Musanje, they replaced all people who were loyal to Musanje. Sungula and Kobushegu were experts in fabricating stories against Musanje's loyalists in order to force him sack them. On the other hand, Kajiko was a notorious thief who targeted other people's businesses and at times the women. This group isolated King Musanje from the population as well as his former loyalists. It is this isolation that weakened Musanje's administration capacity. On many occasions, his decisions depended on fake reports from Sungura and Kobushegu, who were experts in malice. Armed with influence and power, Lwembao started his plans to become a king. Remember, he has no royal blood, and he is an outsider. Secondly, there was no way a son-in-law could succeed his father-in-law. However, since the group had isolated Musanje from the elders and his former allies in the liberation struggle, these factors blinded Lwembao to harbor succession ambitions in disregard of Ugenya tradition. Among those who Lwembao targeted was Mirandira. Mirandira was a stubborn man, but very clever. You could dismiss him as a fool or a drunkard, but he was King Musanje's Mudingidi, the one who plays music for the king. He also used to crack jokes, and he was a good commentator. Mirandira's speech was always characterized by laughter. The Lwembao targeted him because of his proximity to Musanje. At one time, Mirandira was banned from singing at all public functions. He was also banned out of the palace. However, the ban of addressing the rallies and singing at public functions was strongly resisted by the Ugenya. Although some organizers of such public gatherings yielded to pressure from Kajiko, who threatened to withdraw their licenses, others continued to offer Mirandira permission to sing at their functions. One of those who opposed Kajiko's directives was Pastor Joseph Serwanja. What was interesting is that the functions where Mirandira was permitted to sing were flocked by people. For example, Serwanja's church alerted many people and became very popular for young marrying couples. Mirandi's attacks on Rwembawo's group also earned him support and respect among the population. Upon realizing that Rwembawo's group had weakened Musanje's kingdom, Ugatanza started reviving territorial claims on Ugenya kingdom. The constant hostilities between Ugenya and Ugatanza awoke King Musanje from his slumber. He ordered Mukenzi to start mobilizing for war in case Ugatanza's claim graduated from mere threats to full-scale confrontation. In his report to his father, Mukenzi revealed that the group could not manage a full-scale war with Ugatanza. Mukenzi explained that many experienced generals had been sacked by Rwembawo. The mood in the population was alarming. The people, including the elders, had been effectively isolated from Musanje by the Rwembawo group. Mukenzi reported that Kajiko had stolen from the poor to build his own empire. The group had invaded marketplaces, abattoirs, fisheries, and there were reports of extracting human organs for sale to cannibals. Mukenzi also revealed Rwembawo's succession plan. It was after this briefing that King Musanje ordered Mukenzi to restore order in the kingdom. Musanje also ordered the immediate arrest of Rwembawo group, and Kajiko, Sungura, Kobushegu, and other members of their group were arrested. Frogo marched through the capital, Kampala Banya, to the dreaded Luzinga prison. Peace prevailed in King Musanje's kingdom, and his public ratings rose to unprecedented levels. Musanje ruled for a short time and abdicated to create a vacuum for Prince Mukenzi. This is how King Musanje saved his kingdom from his ambitious son, Rwembawo.
Confiscate my books.
Damtulire?
Why did the state council confiscate my books?
Want to get Ugenya, embozi ya Ugenya kingdom.
Kakati Ugenya bakwati yakowa.
Ugenya.
How relevant is the Ugenya kingdom to your story?
Semanyi kafune ku bantu 075 na 03 ya namba esimu ko boyita 075 kale kafune ku bantu ampuliriza bwo kubese mukendeza ku radio 4 Twitter mbufunze dala message mpitirivu nnyo wano nduzo zembanso kanazo kuba nyingi nnyo zazo kuva natandise kansome ku message mu Bitamale akungu ekintu okisobola tata kigumidde mu Greater Kibale abaana bakuwana mu Greater Kibale bebale nange mbagala nnyo abantu banga bali ekibale hi today bampeyo abekibale oge mumpeyo omukyala akungu today ono mukwano go Mr. Bwino Richard owa Bwino newspaper mpuliriza kwetuli wabale wa Bwino okubanga ogoberera onagambye thanks for the program. Ask Mirundi, will Olanya's father be arrested? Victor Chiriandongo jambo webale onagambye kungu thanks for the program. He speaks point blank. I'm Fred Asimwe from Blissa jambo onagambye why are Ugandan soldiers poorly paid? I am Jackson Sabit from Hoima onagamba kungu webale kuwereza mukuna tumwagala nnyo mwongere obudde mirundi 3 mu wiki A great work of Mr. Mirundi for informing us about what is happening in the country. Please help us and go back to government. Musa Alina Guru. Onagamba omulongo Kato Henry Namasuba Mchikajo nzendoza bukedde ekyomukyala ayagala okutwala ebintu byolanya era taata w'omugenzi ye yakyogera ng'agamba nti Museveni amuyambe kyekyo Henry omulongo bw'agambye. Onagamba kungu kwe tuli tutumbudde mukuna tumwagala nnyo ebigambo bye bitunyumira tumulindanga mbaga wano mu district ye Mayuge webale nnyo okubeera nga naye kuoline Mayuge. Please tell Tamale Mirundi to address those Tanzanians in Kiswahili, otherwise they may not understand him. Yelevi Eyaru.
Ndugu yangu kutoka Tanzania simu yangu ni bamanyi
bakuwulidde
balumanyi baganye babatwaliza ebifaananyi ebyobulimba ne bagaana abatanzania
Israel Daka bakigongo mnawula NTV agambye ku nkwende Michael Kigozi webale sebo nawe kwoli yogambye am ever tuned jambo munamawuli wange mukwano gwange Michael Kigozi munabyamizanyo agambye is ever tuned. I am Hanji Habat from Bulisa. Good evening, Adam. Many thanks to Tamale for giving us good information, but I'm requesting him to join President Museveni's security forces because he seems to have a lot of information in government, and yet the government keeps telling us every day. Okay, Onagamba Adam Webali Kwereza, this is Engineer Scorefield from Machindye. I thank senior journalist Mirundi for analyzing the situation. I would ask the media and other stakeholders to respect the death of Honorable Lanya. Let's say he was okay, Webali nyo.
From Baganda tugamba nti ayina mujja weteyefira. We shall reach a level where nobody dies a natural death. Why? Because the country is polarized, which want to change some politics.
Okay.
But where you have a post-mortem report from an internationally recognized hospital, why you can even use money to advertise it, advertise in the newspapers.
Okay.
But don't arrest people.
Okay.
Don't argue with the illiterates. Don't argue with the vendetta. These people who are pursuing vendetta, personal vendetta against Museveni. Bwino ku bwino.
Abali.
Postmortem report you have the war. What do you do in case you oppose a postmortem report? Because it was done when Olanya spent a lot of time katabana muzika. Mulikuwa wapi where were you to raise this issue? Even if it means exhuming him to get the facts, let us do it to unite this country. Two, the president is missing a point. The man he against our friendly forces. He against what mwebaze, he against one, he against one mau. A sober man. He against namugati mwana. Kati Museveni yalitudde naye namukuba akama. Ani yakutira omwana waffe. Kubanga president yagamba ono wamagala nti munnange mukulu munnange omwana akoze eki omuzukulu bamusse. So not to arrest.
Okay. Kongo, thanks for the show. Ayub from Katosinga ambira mwami Tamale anebalizo mukadde mama okukuma okumukuma emyezo mwenda. God bless us. Abali nyo. Omulonkato enwe namaswa mchikajjo agambye ndowooza bukedde. Okay. Webali nyo. Ampita mubaka wano mwami Tamale message nampitirivu mpitako muze nsobola. Onagambye Kongo, I request you to record for us a video for some live show. Genda kumukutu kwa gwa YouTube muganda wange. Mwami Tamale ali wali mu studio yeraba. So genda ku YouTube kwetu, we are streaming live. Oyinza genda ku Facebook page ya Radio 4 Uganda jakupo tulaba. We are streaming live.
Ekyafende muhoza okunteka namba 11 nga kyalumya abantu
kyo sembayo nacho
ngenda mukubira akatambi nga babala namba 11 kitegeeza yabaddatu yamuko neto ulide wali kyenkuga nti bane nkubira bwerere akatambi omusajja minisita agambi Mirundi is a battle of Museveni ke akatambi bakagambi that is facilitated by Muhozi. Mirundi is not our adversary, is Museveni and Muhozi. Kati abantu bagulire ebyo bagamba nti they are giving me maybe somebody is stealing this money.
Onagambye Regan Mukungu echireka tuned in. Big up Tamale, as you always said, if you want to get the cannibal throughout the dead body, why did the post-mortem take so long? Causing speculations. This brings us to a point why Olanya wanted secrecy about his sickness. He could have known. Thank you. Onagamba Kungu kwetuli tutumbude. Onagambye ambassador Chintu Nyago ali South Africa goberera. Please tell Tamale to okay webale nyo. Onagamba Kungu Mugisa Akik Henry in Hoima. Thanks for the show and hosting the wisest man on earth. Wish management gives him 2 days in a week. Thank you. Onagamba ye sekamate munamoli wano gamba webali mwami sekamate message njirabye omukuna Tamale lwachi ye isemi okay lwachi ye semirandira nze mukatabu kange rescuing a corpse from greedy cannibals ninamu amufanana gwempita anko mbotole I think webali mwalimu Solomon Bumba Ono agambye good evening Congo, thanks for the show. I'm ever live. Ocheng Emmanuel Joseph agoberera. Ono agamba Congo kwe tuli wano fena tutumbudde luwero yonna esaanikidde taddeko ebizindalo tukugoberera. Webale nnyo okubeera ng'otaddeko ebizindalo. Mama wange Sanyu Hawa ne Tata Kasimu Kaganda muli abukuya mugoberera enteekateeka mwebale. Sebunya Shafik ogambye kwoli ogoberera Sebunya va mu Muhoozi project. Kungu, thanks for the program and the consultant Tamale Mirundi. Let Mwami Tamale arrest. Okay, let ulida Mwami Tamale.
Yohana umubatiza. Bujinga agambye nti Eliya sola namusibira buko bwangatto. Bujingo n'abagamba nti tetubulira yafuguma. Owalu kyamuzi yajja, owalule yajja, bubweni abadalisa abaganda be, mwenna mulesa abaana bamu. Bujinga gaite tuulira yafuguma.
Namulidde nange.
Ebugimbo yaki yaviridde ddala.
Congo, thanks for the program and consultant Tamale Mirundi. Let Mwami Museveni arrest Oranya's dad from his persistent argument of poisoning the son. I am Dennis Asensio in Masindi from Chabaswa in Miria, listening to your wonderful show. Ambassador Wachiga gambye kwali na gambye Yesebale Sibukunja. I'm Soviet Councillor Elastolik Chengera Town Council kwetuli. Onagamba, thanks for the program. Congo Mukwebiha Rogers Chabigambire Sub-County Hoima. I would wish to ask our media consultant, are those books already in our district or not? They are true stories and inspiring. They are inspiring to the new generations. Okay, Onagamba Kungu tuwerezeyo t-shirt za empunu pate ekakumiro
ezo jeziri
Tadeo alikakumiro
ezo nzine zempunu pate
ku insonso
kwagala kuba omusajja akalulu
onagambye
n'empunu emuwangule
naye ulida naye Mwami Mirundi yatusuubiza essomero plani akyagiriko. Ambassador Busula Kenneth Muzinda onagambye basajja mmwe abagezi mwebale kutukuumira ku mazima era Bettina okuva emayuge. I love Mirundi a million times. I'm Charles in Fort Portal. Onagamba, Abana Kungu, thanks for the program. Kawes Paul, I'm following that. That is my man. Thanks for the show. Ask Mirundi who poisoned people in Sang Empata. Onagamba Adam Ziwa Joseph wa NUP obusagazi ku nsonga ya security ku bijambia tebitegerekeka obasegeri nyande se wanyana.
Ebijambia biri simple kati ngebye waffe ekyengera biri simple. Omusajja yakutte okwaba abazze yabadde ayisamu omukono bwati. Omusajja n'akwata omukono n'ayita mukazi we tijangu leeta embazzi oba ejjambi oba kituguteme. Omukazi n'agaana bali babusikande bamutwala. Why are they using pangas? They are using pangas because it's no longer easy to get guns. Why? Having a gun lands you in a court martial. The criminals have abandoned the guns because the moment you are caught with a gun when you are a civilian, you go to the court martial. 2, the source of guns against the shrinking. 3, when you use a panga, it does not make a noise. But where you have a spread, a well network of security, you fire a bullet, everybody responds. Mutimana kitegera. Nze kintu ekyo nakiraba mu Ruweru. Bajja abantu nkaaga mu polisi y'e Ruweru. Ne babatwala ku faamu ya Kaya. Babattireko. They did not use bullets. Why? Bategera nti abeena emwe bali mu vicinity. Naye baasala na bitala. Omusajja omu gwe baali batutte omukinjaki nga ne bagenze mutta nabagamba mutimali kusala. Mumpe mbasalira abantu mulabe. Era ne bamuteekawo nga ye yawona. The man is available. He survived because yali mukinjaje ng'asala busazi. Emuduuma batta abantu 3 omu ye yawonawo batta 3 babajja ku mbaga ekiriyokya era babasaza biso. Why? They feared to fire a bullet. You fire a bullet even carrying. But what my suggestion is, when you see the media is spreading a rumor that it is a wide network, no. By chifesi bava kuchi.
Okay.
By chifesi bakwatanga mayinja kama minzani. Nibaka kubo muntu nafoka chifesi. I can arrest those in Chengera in one night and I've already
Afande Kasango from Chiriandongo webale nnyo kubanga ogoberera nsoma kati manya gokka tuve ku mpewo Julius Chambadde webale how do we get books from Masindi how do we get Tamale's books in Masindi oyagala bitabo bwa Tamale bamita Godfrey ali Masindi onagambye Adamze Medi Echankwanzi webale Medi Echankwanzi budde bugenze what do you think tompaderi nyali mugana wange Pompe okay ono ye semu yaba Dennis webale nyo semu yaba agambye kwa ndi semu yaba osinziddewa tombuliddewa woli onagambye Amahirez Plank tuned in okuva ku Mobs Nakawa message you gambye nti for the future will exonerate Mr. Dr. Tamale Mirundi Professor Wisamanya manji agambye will exonerate Mr. Dr. Professor Mirundi the vibe lord ono nagamba kungono Bob Katongole Bulisa webale kwereza nze zake ebugongi webale Tom Entebet webale nnyo muna FDC agambye kwali onagambye Adam ali Butaleja agoberera jambo ndogo okuva Butaleja onagamba Adam webale kwereza webale kutuhereza ono busobozi kakumiro wendi mpuliriza webale Nathan from Chankwanzi jambo Thomas Wakiso jambo John Bosco Mutungo webale kungu thanks for the show ono ye maje 256 from Ntungamo webale kubanga ogoberera omugaga Saurembo webale nnyo emirimu gyokola kungu webale Brown Masindi webale nnyo Mujepio Isma from Butebo district jambo onagamba Yesenda Ulembuya webale nnyo onagambye I wish okay message ojiddamu Rogers onagamba Sesanga Mpata webale nnyo ya Musalim Saleh Ngoma Town Council mugamu tyaba nangoma abantu bange mbagala nnyo mwebale kutumbula Radio 7 yebaliyo
Kaviri
baganda baba
eriyo mukodomi wange kajina eriyo muganda wange Nabudozi bampento kukamalapo
lujja genda fenna lumu kubeyo
Christmas yise mbuzi zibazaze baganda bange
tugende tubalabe kodi
uyagala gatugenda
okay onagambye rubuka
nento inawo naziteka
Lubuka Andrew kwali
agoberera mukodomi wange kajinya na mugamba nti ente yazadde naye nkuwe musende yanyiga
Jerry ali kafu agambye kwali
yagana kuwa nti mpe musende
kali webale nyaba tugoberedde Stuart Yuji Masindi webale sigenda kuongera ko wano ku message kuba mpitirivu n'amasimu sigenda kwa tusibule busibuzi
let me summarize is it different from ono mukazi gundi
aliwa
Nantaba Nantaba reported to the police enanga wati to arrest her teyali reported ku police tikwe baba kwata
ati yadiye nonyereza senanga
anti nkubulira tibye bimu Olanya's father is an old man bayinza okubanga bamugambye nti yogera nti butani we yaganti bamuwa butwa no problem today we have a scientific method this is not Mulago this is not Nairobi this is America Museveni is not quarrel with these people. Let the Medical Doctors Association study whether the symptoms of what is contained in a postmortem report reveal poison. Katwali wone chibaita food poison. Abaganda balowooza timutesa bamuwa butwa ne bachawane family ya Sekanyo ne yatenga bagamba it was food poison. Omuganda tabya gulabyobi. But where you have you never releasing ebibuzo ne mudda mu kwalulinga abazadde n'abasomesa the postmortem report is available. Put it to Parliament. They have lawyers, they have doctors, interpret for them. Don't arrest anybody. Allow the fools to as usual. Bobe wakola nti tumwebaza has changed the position. Chiwanda has changed the position. Group yabwe yonna
tunadam
I strongly suspect
ngatuze
if Olanya was harmed is their group. Because Olanya was constructing a house, a presidential one. When they use you, they dump you.
Olina bakumi name? Okay, wale chibya
njaba kubira akatambi akadako.
Lwachi
bagambye I don't na wano bawulidde.
Mbawulidda.
Bagambye nti the senior advice ali wabwe tebalwanyisa.
Lwachi mwami Tamale
Mirundi. Muhozi ne Museveni nze ndi battle ya Museveni. Ne battle yatateeka bomba futa bannange. Afenda muhozi onalabika alina omuntu abba ssente zange oba Museveni buli abo byoboogera
mukatambi kano
teekako akatambi eggwanga litegeere bino byonna bimulimu munyiga nsambo njabavu
ogenda tunnyonnyola
yes.
katusooke tuzanya akatambi Bitamale
katambi kazanyi
for almost 5 years. And what we have not concluded with is yes, if there is a success plan, and that success plan is going to be implemented by people within the first family circles. Now, the rest becomes co-workers just. She becomes supportive, to do a supportive role. But that is not enough really. If you have stood the ground for some time, and you have really ensured that most of the things have been done in the right way, using right means and the right orders permitted by the Constitution, there should be no reason why somebody should be excluded from exercising their rights. And what I normally believe is that if we can organize ourselves, we are such a large team that can have a very serious, large political and financial negotiation with the establishment. And this establishment we are part of needs just to refurbishing. It does not need an overthrow. But we can walk the line that is called a voice of wisdom, a path of wisdom, a path of activities of adjustment, readjustment, and goal targeting. And I think we can do that. Personally, when my colleague came to me and told me that, you see, I'm becoming an exclusion because there has been provocative, negative propaganda telling me that I'm waging war against the first son to penetrate and make sure that I demean him, not just be a campaign that to see him in the International Criminal Court, just to dominate and cover everything with my own wings. So I personally said after hearing the whole story that, okay, let's hope that is very true. That is what politics is all about. The establishment has been here. Whoever comes, there are two options. Oppose, go to jail. Oppose, be arrested. Oppose, be financially crippled. Oppose, be excluded, be tagged as a rebel, be tagged as a anti-patriotic. That is the only thing. When there is adversity, expect negativity against you. So it is to negate the negation and use it as a forward-moving campaign. And that is what we are looking at. So I wouldn't like anybody to come out and say that possibly Audrey is a very bad person. Nobody should come out and say that, you see, Audrey wants to germinate from the efforts of God. That's not the truth. Everybody is exercising their rights in their rightful and respectful domain. And that is what it looks like. We have had a lot of negative propaganda. We have so many people doing it and facilitated. You looked at the list that was released by Afande Mosque of the people who are supposed to organize his birthday. Jiruk Tamale was number 11. Number 11 out of 20 people. So, it is telling you, when you listen to Tamale talking, just know the battery was created by President Museveni and is always being charged by Mosque and Mugabe, and then amplified by the media. Present people. Now, we are not treating Tamale as an adversary. No, because we have more problems to conquer. We have more things to handle. If we do not handle them, then we're going to face it rough. So there will be several suggestions that we can come up with, because currently the stumbling block, that is really creating a barrier to propel ourselves to the next level. That is Tamale. At least Museveni has not put any negative forces against us, but he has always been talking to tell us that oneness is the only way to rise above. But we are telling him that oneness is very good, but we are already split. We first of all need to tailor the gap between the two, then we become one. Then we also need to adjust the growing mistakes. Actually, the mistakes that create growing problems that are going to suffocate everyone and decapitate every single person within the system. So we don't want to look like the rebels. Neither do we want to look like the aliens before the people, before Ugandans. Ugandans are more powerful than anyone. Whatever we are swimming in is borrowed power, which can be taken away. It is borrowed power, which cannot be inherited. It is the system called Uganda that can inherit it. It is the choice that Ugandans make that can inherit the power that be. So we are not the only one. And nobody should claim to be the only ones. So we should make it very properly understood.
Okay.
And everybody should respect every forces of change that come by. As long as it's not a negative change, but a positive change to add on what we have, neither